Episode 419. Poor sharpshooter player, he just wanted to show off in front of the beauties, but ended up getting a thorough beating from the two of them working together. Hearing the commentator say the two of them had teamed up, he was furious. He kept crawling on the ground, shouting at the top of his lungs,
"Cheaters! You dare to team up!"
The live stream chat erupted in laughter. The commentator even went to check the rules, then answered directly on the broadcast.
The rules don't mention it, but since they don't forbid teaming up, it's probably allowed.
Everyone in the crowd saw exactly what was happening on the field, and no one felt the slightest bit of pity for the guy. The sight of him getting pummeled by two beauties was incredibly satisfying for the crowd, who cheered and applauded. But the director in charge of the live broadcast was at a bit of a loss. The live audience has it easy. They can see the whole match and watch whatever they please. But the TV broadcast can only show one picture at a time. Judging by the crowd's reaction, everyone was clearly watching the PK on the ground. But this is a high jump competition after all. Shouldn't the broadcast be focusing on the three provocative pro stars up in the air, instead of these three ordinary players messing around on the ground? The director's feed is all over the place, and it's making the commentary a bit of a mess. The commentary you're hearing is for the TV broadcast. The live event has its own host on the field, but during the competition, you can't have both voices playing at once. So, the TV commentator handles everything. Everyone at the venue was watching the PK, but the director was showing the high jump event from above. The commentator had no choice but to start calling the high jump instead. But even his own mind was on the PK match down below. This sharpshooter player was fully committed to playing dirty. Realizing he couldn't beat the two beauties, he actually chose to run away. This move immediately got the other players thinking, if he just kept running like this, would he eventually run right off the map and straight into the spectator stands? Tang Ru wasn't one to give up, and Chen Guo had long been infuriated by this guy. Neither of them let up, controlling their characters to chase after him together. The three of them raced in a straight line, one after the other, toward the edge of the map. Many in the live audience rose to their feet, eager to see what would happen at the boundary. But just as the sharpshooter was about to cross the boundary, he suddenly changed direction and began circling along the edge. The audience was furious. This was a direct challenge to the will of the people. Everyone wanted to see you run off the map, but you started spinning in circles just one step away from the edge. First you taunted the beauty, and now you're provoking the entire audience. The arena erupted in a wave of boos, but they quickly died down, because on the big screen, everyone could see it wasn't that the sharpshooter was trying to provoke them. The map's edge simply wouldn't let him go any further. The audience couldn't see the full picture from the arena's holographic projection, but the main screen now displayed the player's in-game point of view. This map does have a boundary, you know. He hit the wall, so what else can he do but run in circles? But how long could he keep this up? Chen Guo and Tang Ru split up and finally managed to cut the guy off.
A wolf in front, a tiger behind, and both of them are she-wolves and tigresses.
This player was quite tenacious, holding out for a while longer before finally getting taken down. Amidst a round of applause, Tang Ru and Chen Guo returned to the base of the springboard, heads held high, and resumed their high jump. In the first event, the hurdles, everyone witnessed the dazzling display of the Gun King, Zhou Zekai. In the second, they saw a farce put on by the average players. The atmosphere in the stadium was electric, but the professional players section remained surprisingly calm. At first glance, there was a surprising amount of hushed conversation going on among the pro players on Shu's side.
So?
This was said by someone in almost every team. Their focus was squarely on Tang Ru.
Her APM is quite good.
Everyone was in complete agreement on that point.
But there's one strange thing. A battle mage was saying, I've been paying attention, and I've noticed she hasn't used a single skill above level 40. No matter how good the opportunity, she won't use one.
Did she think her opponent wasn't worth using a big move on?
Maybe so. Compared to her, the gap in skill is truly immense.
Amidst the chatter, Chen Guo and Tang Ru's characters returned to the center of the stage and without a word resumed jumping on the pedals. By now, Su Mucheng and the other three pro players were all close to the top, and the spectator who hadn't jumped down was already more than halfway there. Chen Guo and Tang Ru had only just started from the beginning, but after putting on such a good show, The audience was quite supportive of these two beauties, constantly applauding and cheering them on. A few minutes later, the 4 pro players reached the top one after another. Su Mucheng maintained her initial lead and took first place. The other 3 players reached the top one after another, but they all knew the real focus of this match was no longer on them. It was on the 2 female players who hadn't even cleared a quarter of the course yet. The 4 pro players stood in a line on the top platform, looking down. With landing spots this clear, this high jump is far less challenging than leaping between the central towers in Sin City. Chen Guo and Tang Ru didn't falter under the cheers from the crowd, concentrating on taking each jump one step at a time. They weren't as quick as the pros, but at least they hadn't made a single mistake.
Encouraging. Keep going. We're almost there.
The 2 girls were encouraging each other. They looked up to see the spectator player had already reached the top. Now, only Chen Guo and Tang Ru remained on the field.
Go for it. Let's go.
Let's go!
Let's go.
The crowd chanted in unison.
Whoa!
Suddenly, the crowd let out a collective gasp. They watched as Chen Guo made a clumsy move. As she tried to jump to a higher platform, she didn't put enough power into the leap. She missed the landing and plummeted straight down. Then, Tang Rou's battle mage leapt out, executing a sky strike mid-air that landed squarely on Chasing Haze. Chasing Haze was launched into the air, and when she fell, she landed squarely on the very platform she had tried and failed to jump onto earlier. "Little Tang," Chen Guo called out, quickly swinging her view down. She saw Tang Rou's battle mage had dropped 2 levels and was now standing on a platform. She must have spotted that spot before she even thrust her spear.
I'm fine.
The arena erupted in applause once more. It was still an attack, but between these 2 friends, it was an act of mutual support. Compared to the fights where opponents tripped and sabotaged each other, this scene moved the audience deeply. Even from the top platform came the sound of applause, as several players had their in-game characters clap.